Picture this. You have $1 billion and you're on top of the world. Your life consists of fast cars, big houses, private jets. And then, just like that, it all comes crashing down. Welcome back, Charlie here. Get ready because we're about to look at real stories of billionaires who lost it all. From a man who stole $65 billion and got caught, to a cryptocurrency billionaire who ended up penniless and in prison. First, we have to look at Sam Bankman-Fried. He might not look like it, but a few weeks ago this man was the world's youngest billionaire. Sam Bankman-Fried, or SBF, created a cryptocurrency exchange known as FTX. For a long time, everyone thought this man was a genius. The news loved him. He was a billionaire but seemed so humble. YouTubers even made videos about him calling him the most generous billionaire. But the truth is, this was all a big scam. His crypto exchange, FTX, had their very own token. This was called FTT. It turned out this token was basically a Ponzi scheme. He used this token as collateral to borrow billions of dollars. He would give these billions of dollars to his other company named Alameda Research. Alameda would then use the money to make very risky crypto bets. Bets that lost them billions of dollars. People who used FTX thought they were buying Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. But really, all they were buying was an IOU, basically promising they would be able to withdraw their crypto if they wanted to. This would all be fine and was for many years. The only danger would be if too many people wanted their cryptocurrency at once. And a few weeks ago, that's exactly what happened. This man, CZ, who is Sam's biggest rival, decided to take him down. CZ owns the exchange named Binance, which was FTX's biggest competition. With a few tweets, CZ created lots of fear about FTX, causing everyone to take their money out at once. FTX couldn't pay their customers back. So where did all their money go? Well, it turns out Sam had misused over $4 billion of user funds. He also spent $21 million on Super Bowl commercials, $45 million in campaign donations, and $300 million on a giant penthouse in the Bahamas. At one point, Sam was worth $27 billion, but in a recent interview said his net worth was down to just $100,000. Now even that's been seized, meaning his net worth has gone to zero. 2 days ago, Sam was also arrested in the Bahamas. He was denied bail, and now faces up to 115 years in jail if convicted. Moving on, let's look at Elizabeth Holmes. For years, many people thought this woman was a genius. They called her the next Steve Jobs, and many famous investors gave her billions of dollars for her company. The company named Theranos created groundbreaking technology for diagnosing diseases, and soon became one of the fastest growing companies in the world. By 2014, she'd already gained $400 million of investments. Theranos was valued at $9 billion and she was on top of the world, her personal net worth at $4.5 billion. Everything Theranos did was incredibly secretive. But despite this, investors trusted Elizabeth. But this all changed in 2015. The FDA uncovered something shocking. None of the technology Theranos had actually worked. Their main product, a blood analysis machine, did nothing. In 2018, Theranos was shut down for good, and Elizabeth was charged with massive fraud. In November of 2022, she was sentenced to more than 11 years in prison, making this one of the biggest falls from grace of all time. I guess for Elizabeth, orange really is the new black. Moving on, we have to look at Kwon. Kwon was a South Korean cryptocurrency billionaire. That was until summer of 2022. Kwon founded the cryptocurrencies Terra and Luna. Users invested billions of dollars in these. But in May of 2022, Do's blockchain came crashing down. More than $40 billion was wiped out in a matter of days. Kwon lost billions of dollars. But what's worse is, he lost over $40 billion of other people's money. South Korea soon put out an arrest warrant for Do, but he was in Singapore at the time. Then in September, Interpol issued an international warrant for his arrest. And 3 days ago, Do was confirmed to be hiding in Serbia. Interpol does operate in Serbia. If convicted, Kwon could spend years in prison in South Korea. Moving on, let's look at Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff is known as the man who stole $65 billion. He ran the largest Ponzi scheme in history. Bernie would take investors' money and say he was investing it, but in reality he was simply keeping it in a bank account. He would tell his investors that they were getting returns of 20%. That's double the standard stock market return. This worked well as he would simply tell people their investments were growing. It would only be bad if people wanted their money back. But because everyone thought the investments were going well, no one ever did. It all came crashing down when he confessed to his sons that he was running a massive Ponzi scheme and wasn't actually investing any of the money. $65 billion was gone. Bernie was soon arrested. He had to forfeit his $17 billion fortune and was sentenced to 150 years in prison. Sadly, one of Bernie's sons named Mark took his own life after hearing this news. In 2021, Bernie Madoff passed away from natural causes while serving his sentence in prison. Moving on, we have to look at Alan Stanford. In the 1980s, Alan Stanford made a massive amount of money in real estate, and a few years later made his own bank. The only problem was Alan loved spending money. He would give away $20 million in a cricket tournament, buy private jets costing hundreds of millions of dollars, purchase mansions worth tens of millions of dollars, and also buy yachts. It turned out to get rich, Alan had been bribing lots of politicians, and also participating in money laundering. He would also treat his bank as a personal ATM. In 2009, Alan was arrested, and his company was deemed a Ponzi scheme. His personal fortune at the time was $2 billion. But he was told by a court he had to repay $7 billion, making his net worth minus $5 billion. He was sentenced to 110 years in prison, but most of his investors never got their money back. Finally, let's look at Sean Quinn. Sean Quinn from Ireland came from humble beginnings. He owned a small gravel business, but soon moved into construction, insurance, and hospitality, leading to his net worth ballooning to $6 billion in 2008. He was the richest man in Ireland. Most of his money was tied up in Anglo-Irish Bank. Sean owned 30% of this bank, but when the 2008 financial crash came, the bank collapsed. Sean Quinn's insurance company also lost billions of dollars, leading to him going bankrupt in 2011. His net worth was then minus $3 billion. Sean now works a normal job as a consultant, which must be a pretty weird change. He went from being the richest man in Ireland to working a normal 9-to-5. It's amazing how some of these billionaires lost all of their money overnight. Surprisingly, many of these billionaires have bounced back, and they're now rich once again. But many of these billionaires are still in debt or broke to this day, or they're just working normal 9-to-5 jobs. But now it's time for you to make your voice heard. Do you feel sorry for any of these people, or was it their own fault? Let me know in the comments down below. If you want to see my shorts videos, then check out my second channel. I've been Charlie, thanks for watching. Drop a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, then what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.